Hello everyone. Today I am starting a series of lectures which is based on multiple choice questions. It will be helpful for your various competitive examinations. So I will start with general science biology question set 1. So it will be helpful for all competitive examinations in which general science is a part of the syllabus, whether it is your civil services, SSC or any other exam. Especially it will be helpful in your forest services. Okay, so I will start MCQs because MCQs form the part of your examination pattern. So it will be helpful for you to get the exam feel as well as how to approach the options in MCQs. That also you'll come to know through this lectures. Okay, so let's begin with biology. Okay. So the first question here is gout, which is usually followed accompanied by arthritis, are characterized by high levels of uric acid in the blood and uric acid crystals become lodged in the joints. It is a blank. Is it a viral infection, metabolic disorder, muscle disorder or bacterial infection? So here I have given you the diagram also. Which will be helpful for you to understand these questions better. Okay, so the answer to this question is metabolic disorder. Okay, so this gout is basically a form of arthritis itself, characterized by severe pain, redness and tenderness in joints. Okay, so in this what happens is, here you can see in the diagram also, here when too much uric acid crystallizes and deposits in the joints, there is an inflammation and pain. Okay, so in this the attacks can come suddenly, often at night, so it is quite painful disease. Okay, so it is a metabolic disorder. So what makes it a metabolic disorder is, you can understand it from metabolism. What is metabolism? Is the process your body uses to get or make energy from the food you eat, right? So when a disorder occurs in this process, when abnormal chemical reactions in your body disrupt this metabolism process, you might have too much of some substances or too little of other ones that you need to stay healthy. Okay, so it creates a metabolic disorder in your body. Okay, so what happens is, when some organs such as your liver or pancreas become diseased or do not function normally, it is because of this metabolic disorder. Okay, for example, very common disease to this is diabetes. Okay, so that is it. And you know already about viral infection. Okay, they are quite infectious diseases. We know it very well now because of the coronavirus, right? The world is facing this COVID-19 pandemic, so we know how disastrous viruses can be. They are like hijackers. They invade living normal cells and use those cells to multiply and produce other viruses like themselves. Okay, and then there is muscle disorder. Okay, here you can see muscle disorder. Your muscles help you in the movement of your body and help your body to work. So when there is a muscle disorder, this can cause weakness, pain or even paralysis. Okay, and then bacterial infection, they can infect any area of your body. Okay, so like you can get whooping cough, ear infection, urinary tract infection, UTI. Okay, so this is question 1. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next question is Down syndrome. Okay, here is the word Down syndrome is also known as what? Edwards syndrome, Patau syndrome, Mongolism or none of the above. Here there is a diagram for trisomy Down syndrome. Okay, it is also called as trisomy 21. There is a reason for that. So first of all, the answer to this is option C, Mongolism. Okay, so what is a Down syndrome is, it is a genetic disorder caused when abnormal cell division results in extra genetic material from chromosome 21. So this is the diagram here where you can see all the chromosomes found in humans. So there are a pair of 23 chromosomes in human body, out of which you can see 22 pairs of chromosomes are autosomes, and one of the set is the 23rd pair is sex chromosome. Okay, autosomes are similar to each other, while the sex chromosome, it is different for male and female. Okay, as you can see in the diagram here. And in Down syndrome, you get an extra chromosome in your 21 chromosomes. Okay, so this red one here is the extra chromosome, okay, which is causing the problem. It causes problems like some distinct facial appearance, intellectual disability, and developmental delays. Okay, so this is the problem faced due to Down syndrome. And even you can see here the Patau syndrome. In this, a person facing this syndrome has an extra chromosome 13. Like here, the 21 chromosome is extra. Here in the 13th chromosome, you will find an extra chromosome in Patau syndrome. And similarly, in your Edwards syndrome, what happens is you will have the same developmental delays due to an extra chromosome in the chromosome number 18. Okay, so here is the 18th chromosome. If you have an extra chromosome here, then it will be a Edwards syndrome. Okay, so this is it. Second question done. Now third question. Vitamin A, D and C are respectively called as. Vitamin A is called as retinol. Okay, D is called as calciferol. Okay, and C is called as ascorbic acid. So this option number B. Okay, so here you can see a chart where you can find out this vitamin A is called as retinol, and when you have deficiency of vitamin A, you will have poor vision, night blindness. Okay, and this is available from different sources like spinach, carrots, butter, mangoes. And similarly, B1 vitamin is called as thiamine, and due to its deficiency, you will have extreme weakness or beriberi, and it is available from the sources egg, meat, yeast. And B2 is called as riboflavin, and due to its deficiency, one may have retarded growth or bad skin, and these are the available sources from which you can get vitamin B2. And vitamin B12 is called as cyanocobalamin. Due to its deficiency, a disease called anemia may occur. Okay, and you get it from these sources. C is called as ascorbic acid. Scurvy, swollen gums, loose teeth is due to deficiency of vitamin C. Calciferol, vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D, vitamin C sources you already know: lime, lemon, oranges. It is also good for your immunity. And then vitamin D deficiency causes rickets, brittle bones in children which break or bend easily, and it is available from these sources. And vitamin K is called as phylloquinone. And in this, if you have a deficiency of vitamin K, you will not have blood clotting. There will be excessive bleeding due to injury. Okay, so the available source for this will be green leafy vegetables. Okay, and these are some essential minerals which are required at certain amounts in your body. Okay, so you can go through this chart and understand better. Let's move to next question. Question number 4. Okay, so here the question is, the elements which are found in hemoglobin, chlorophyll, chalcopyrite, vitamin B12 respectively are as follows. So when we hear the word hemoglobin, we directly think of iron. Here we can see iron is present in 3 options. So definitely this option is eliminated. Okay, chlorophyll is present in plants, as you know. So if you don't know chlorophyll, the element present in chlorophyll, still you can see chalcopyrite. From pyrite word itself, we can try to understand it is something related to copper. So the element present might be copper, right? So iron here, copper here. So this is present only in, okay, these 2 options. Both of these options can be correct. And vitamin B12. So vitamin B12, which element is present in vitamin B12? So I know this because I have seen capsules of vitamin B12, and in it I have seen its composition, which consists of cobalt. So in daily life also, when we observe certain things, it helps us to get our answers right. So this helped me, okay, to understand that vitamin B12 has cobalt. So I got the answer as B. Okay, even if you don't know one or two of the points, certainly if you know one, two options and you are able to eliminate at least two of the options, there is a 50% probability that you will get a right answer. So you should attempt the objective questions like this. Okay. So next, one more important point here to be noted is about hemoglobin. That is a protein, as you know, which is found in your RBCs that carries oxygen in our body, okay, and gives blood its red color. Okay, it has iron, so red color blood you can see. Okay, and chlorophyll, as you know, it is green photosynthetic pigment which is found in plants. Okay, during photosynthesis process you read about it, and it contains magnesium obviously, and chalcopyrite is actually a principal ore of copper. And vitamin B12, as I told, is also known as cobalamin. It is an important water soluble vitamin, so I wanted to mention it here. So you must remember it is a water soluble vitamin, and it plays an essential role in the production of your RBCs and DNA, as well as the proper functioning of your nervous system. Okay, so it is a very important vitamin. That's why I wanted to tell you this. It is naturally found in animal foods, including your meats, fish, poultry, eggs, dairy. Okay. So as I told you, it is also called as cobalamin. So from the word itself you can understand, because it contains a metal ion of cobalt. Okay. So that way also you can get the answer. Okay. So let's move to the next question, which is, okay, a ripe tomato is red, leaves are green, flower is purple, hair is black. Bring out the pigments responsible for these colors respectively. So first of all, what is a pigment? Pigments are certain chemical substances which reflect few wavelengths of the visible light, making them appear colorful. Okay. So plants, flowers, and even the skin of animals have pigments that give them a specific color. So tomato is red because of that, leaves are green. Okay, so what are the pigments which are giving them these colors? For example, if you don't know about the pigment present in tomato, obviously you have heard about the connection of chlorophyll and leaves, right? Plants and chlorophyll. So by this you get that leaves are green because of chlorophyll. At least this you got. So in second option, chlorophyll is there in 3 options. So you can eliminate first option. Okay, flower is purple. Okay, hair is black. You might have heard about the pigment in our skin and all, melanin. Sometimes in your daily life you might have heard, and you can get an idea, hair is black because of melanin. Okay, so again this option is eliminated. Now you are left with 2 options, so you have 50% probability to get a right answer, right? So here the answer is B. Okay, tomato is red because of lycopene, leaves are green because of chlorophyll, flower is purple because of anthocyanin, and hair is black because of melanin. Okay, so this is it. We are done with 5 questions. Let's move to the 6th question. An example of protozoa, arthropoda, aves, mammal, and reptile is respectively. Protozoa is obviously amoeba, so we can eliminate option D. Arthropoda is some crustaceans and all these insects, so obviously scorpion. Okay, so this is present in 2 options. Okay, aves related to birds obviously, and mammal, bat is a mammal, we know that. Okay, so reptile is lizard is a reptile, so we got our option as B. Okay, I hope you understood how we look at the options and the question. Even if you know 1 or 2 of the answers or options, you can match regardless of whether you know the others or not. Okay, so for that, here is a chart for you to understand properly animal kingdom classification of vertebrates and invertebrates. Here you can see these are reptiles, snakes, lizards, fishes. okay, cold-blooded, and amphibians, frogs, okay, cold-blooded, and birds, aves, which we saw, hen, and here mammals, bat is also a mammal as you saw, protozoa we saw here, amoeba, okay, so flatworms, annelid worms, echinoderms, arthropoda we saw, arachnids, crustaceans, insects, myriapods, okay, and here mollusks, snails, you can see soft-blooded, and here coelentrids, okay, soft-bodied single cells. Okay, so this gives you a basic idea about animal kingdom, and I hope this question is clear. Now we will move to the next question very soon. And so this is the next question. Lac is the scarlet resinous secretion from. So this is secreted from insects. Okay. So what is it is? Lac is actually a natural resin of animal origin. Okay, you can see it here. This thing above the wood. This is lac. Okay, so this is actually resin. So this is cultivated. Actually, cultivation begins when a farmer gets a stick that contains eggs ready to hatch and ties it to the tree to be infested like this. Okay, so this is about lac. Okay, and let's move on to the next question. I hope this is clear till now. Now question number 8 is, which among the following are scavengers? Scavengers is a very common word. Okay, it is an organism that mostly consumes decaying biomass, right, such as meat or rotting plant materials. So here you can very easily know that fungi and bacteria are scavengers. Okay, next question. In peaches, cherries, plums and apricots, the edible parts are. Okay, so this diagram will help you better understand. Okay, so this is a fruit, okay, cut fruit you can see, and this you can see a word called pericarp. It has typically 3 distinct layers, which is exocarp, endocarp and mesocarp. Okay, so the outermost layer is called as the exocarp, this one, as you can see here, outermost layer, and the middle layer is called as mesocarp. Okay, and endocarp is the inner layer surrounding the ovary of the seeds. Okay, the endocarp is the hard part of the fruit and is made of fibrous lignin, and this mesocarp is usually the fleshy edible part of the fruit. Okay, so this is it. So the answer here will be, in peaches, cherries, plums and apricots, the edible parts are endocarp. Okay, and you might have heard here I remember one more thing. Oh, true and false fruits. You know, true fruits are produced from fertilized ovary and their ovules get converted into seeds, and false fruits are produced without fertilization. So some false fruits you might know examples are banana, pineapple and apple. I just wanted to share it because suddenly it came in my mind. So this is done. Now next question is, cell membranes contain some biochemicals which are responsible for cell recognition and adhesion. They are, okay, so cell membranes, okay, they contain some certain biochemicals, okay, which are responsible for cell recognition and cell adhesion. So these biochemicals are, the answer is glycoproteins and glycolipids. Okay, so I'll give you a small idea of what cell recognition and adhesion is, though it is not very important for you to understand that in detail unless and until you are from the particular field of this subject. Okay, for exams you don't need to understand everything in very deep. Okay, cell recognition occurs when two molecules restricted to the plasma membranes of different cells bind to each other, okay, triggering a response for, suppose, communication, cooperation, transport, defense or growth. So this is your cell recognition. And what is cell adhesion is? Cell adhesion is the process by which cells interact and attach to neighboring cells through specialized molecules of the cell surface. Here I have kept two diagrams for your understanding. Even if you don't understand these diagrams, it is not a problem at all. Here you can see glycolipids. Here you can see glycoproteins. Okay, cell recognition and adhesion occur due to this biochemicals of cell membranes. Okay, which are your glycolipids and glycoproteins. I hope you got basic idea of this, and so here I complete this video. Okay, I hope it was helpful for you. Okay, thank you.